At 27, 28, even at 25, AMH levels are low. You are stuck in this vicious circle. Get out of this fear. Sir, my AMH is low. Can I become a mother naturally? Can we get pregnant naturally? Sir, since the AMH level is low, even IVF keeps failing repeatedly. So, there is a lot of fear surrounding this AMH level. Whenever I present any yoga video on female fertility health and publish it on your channel, there's one thing that gets repeated a lot in the comments. Sir, my AMH level is very low. So today, let's face the truth. What I'm about to share might upset some medical practitioners, it might even hurt them. But I have every right to share my own experience with everyone and to share the experiences of my students with everyone as well. I am a fertility yoga teacher, and through yoga, many of my students have successfully conceived naturally, and among them, there were many students whose AMH levels were very low. So how is this possible? If having a low AMH level means you should lose all hope, then how is this possible? AMH level does not indicate this in any way. It is not at all a standard for how much capacity you have to conceive naturally. Whether you can get pregnant naturally or not, AMH level is not a standard for that in any way. This anti-Müllerian hormone, the AMH level, is just a marker that shows how much of your natural egg reserve is left. That's it. That's all it does. And that's why, for people who are going for IVF, for the doctors who are planning your IVF, or for those who have decided on their own that they can't conceive naturally anymore and now need to go for IVF, for them, the AMH level matters to some extent. In fact, for doctors, it matters a lot to plan the IVF cycle, how much time is left, how many times they can plan an IVF cycle. First of all, come out of this fear. Let's understand this. We men, males, have a natural capacity that even into old age, we can produce new sperm every month in the millions. But that's not the case for females. When it comes to eggs, when it comes to ovaries, it's absolutely not like that. Nature has made you in such a way that you are born with a natural reserve when you come into this world. Any female, when she is born, has a reserve of 1 to 2 million ova eggs. By the time they reach the age of 12 or 13, meaning when their period cycle starts, only 3 to 5 lakh egg follicles are left from that reserve. Even those are not matured eggs, they are egg follicles, and only 3 to 5 lakh remain. And out of those 3 to 5 lakh eggs, during the entire reproductive cycle, that is, the age up to menopause, only about 350 to 400 healthy eggs can actually be produced, because naturally, only one healthy egg is produced each month. So, you should understand this point. The AMH level only gives a tentative idea. There is absolutely no one in the world who can tell you the exact number of eggs you have left just by reading your AMH level. No one can tell you that. It's just a tentative calculation of how many eggs might still be left in your reserve. If your AMH is healthy, it means you still have time. Every month, you are still producing one healthy egg. In this way, you still have many months left. If your AMH level is low, meaning the number of eggs in your reserve is also low, then you have fewer months left to plan pregnancy. That's all the AMH level indicates. You only need one healthy egg to get pregnant to conceive. Whether you have 50 eggs left or 100, it doesn't really matter. If you understand this, you will be able to let go of your fear. Let me clarify that scaring you into believing that IVF is the only option. That you should start an IVF cycle as soon as possible. That you need to preserve your remaining eggs, that we need to try. Scaring people by talking about AMH levels is easy because many women today have low AMH levels and AMH measurement isn't always perfectly accurate. Why? Because reports vary from lab to lab. We've seen this ourselves. When we send the same woman to a different lab because she's been learning yoga with me for 3 or 4 months, I am confident that, given her body type, she can't possibly have that much of a problem. When I suggest she get checked at another lab, her AMH is normal. Earlier, it was coming as something like 0.75. But when she gets it checked at another lab, it's coming as 1.2, and that's within a week. There's another thing too. If someone has PCOD or PCOS and is undergoing treatment, then their AMH level can naturally come out low. If someone smokes or parties heavily, like in cities, people drink a lot and smoke on weekends, their AMH level comes out low. Even at the age of 27, 28, or even 25, their AMH level is coming out low. Does that mean nature hasn't given them an egg reserve? They also have sufficient eggs, yet their AMH level is low. If someone is taking hormonal pills, the ones taken to regulate the period cycle, the 21-day cycle pills, long-term use of those can also cause the AMH level to drop. So, AMH level is in no way a standard to determine whether you can get pregnant successfully or whether you can conceive naturally or not. Once you get scared after seeing these things, you know. Because of fear, first your morale breaks down, and then you slowly start convincing yourself, your mind starts to believe, and even your partner starts to believe that you have to go for IVF. You start living under a lot of stress. When your stress increases, when a person's hope breaks, then the natural capacity to conceive automatically goes down. You get trapped in a vicious cycle. I am going to tell you about the question you often ask, "Sir, which yoga should I do to increase my AMH levels?" There is no yoga in the world that can increase the number of your remaining eggs. In other words, there is no yoga that can naturally increase your AMH level. So then, why am I talking about all this? What benefit does yoga provide? The benefit of yoga is exactly what I've been explaining to you all this time. You only need one healthy egg, so whether you have 50 eggs or 100, as I mentioned, there's no need to be afraid of that. You set a target of 3 to 6 months and practice yoga in such a way that your egg production, which mainly depends on the FSH hormone, recovers, so that by stimulating the follicle, you are able to produce one healthy egg. So, whatever egg reserve you have left, a healthy egg is produced from it and released so that you can conceive. Naturally, your chances increase a lot, and we have seen this in many cases. I have shared many cases, even in the previous video, where people conceived while planning for IVF. They were planning, but then they started yoga. Somehow, they watched one of my videos, or they watched a video from another instructor. They spent 3 months living a healthy lifestyle and conceived naturally. There was no need to worry about the AMH level. So, the first thing was to get rid of that fear. Now, what exactly should you do in yoga? See, yoga therapy works like this. First of all, it cleanses you. That means it will clean your body, then repair it, and then strengthen it. So, you have to keep these 3 parameters in mind, and by doing practices like Kapalbhati Kriya, Agnishaya Kriya as well. I've explained all this in many videos. Now it's your job to watch and practice it. Just listening won't help. So you need to do these kinds of breathing practices regularly, then your body will be cleaned, purified, and detoxified. You should also practice exercises like Surya Namaskar. Then, for repair, look not just 1, not 2, not 3. I've made and uploaded many videos on how you can work precisely within your evolution circle. How, if you have PCOD or cysts, you can remove them from your body, how you can suppress them. Alright, so you need to do all these videos. There isn't just one yoga practice where you can say, "Sir, just tell me one pose and I'll be cured." There's no such miraculous pose. You have to spend 45 minutes on the mat with a regular routine. If you want to get out of this huge cycle of IVF, because it's very rare for IVF to be successful on the first try, you can check and see for yourself. Is there any doctor who will guarantee you, saying, "Yes, come to us, you'll succeed in the first cycle"? No doctor says that. Many students come to me, their IVF failed 3 or 4 times. An atmosphere of fear. They didn't even need it. If the system was so foolproof, then why didn't it succeed the first time? Why didn't it succeed the second time? Because the body just wasn't ready. The eggs they have aren't even healthy eggs. So, the eggs need to be made healthy. Practice yoga, do sufficient pranayama, and meditate. Chant daily for 15 minutes at night. Make sure to watch this video at least once every day. You can't afford to miss this video. Definitely watch it once. You've been given a complete roadmap. Be sure to watch this video, though I'm not getting into the technical part just yet. You need to do yoga for 45 minutes. Then what do you need to do? There are some things you shouldn't do. That's even more important. You shouldn't eat junk food from outside. Absolutely avoid processed food. Among white foods, mainly avoid sugar and refined flour completely. I'm not saying never eat them for your whole life. Are you having cravings? Go ahead, you have your whole life to eat pizza and burgers. But if your AMH level is low, meaning you have a lower remaining number of eggs, then you can't take chances right now. You have to control your temptations. It's a kind of discipline. Alright, if you want a healthy pregnancy with a low number of eggs, and that too without IVF, then you'll have to compromise on something. All these things that are bad for you, you already know them. Look, there are thousands of videos on the internet where you can understand what to eat and what not to eat. But I want to emphasize here that yoga, proper food, and sufficient sleep are also important. You need to live in a positive environment. Those daily soaps about mothers-in-law and daughters-in-law, those videos full of fights and arguments, channels like Big Boss, where people are always pointing out each other's faults. Get out of these kinds of things. For just 3 to 4 months, this is very important for your brain. You need to be in a creative environment because becoming a mother is the greatest creativity in the world. There is nothing more creative than this in the entire world. So get involved in creative things. Gradually start involving yourself in creative things and your stress will also decrease a lot. Now let me tell you another thing why at the MS level and during the IVF cycle, I don't motivate people that much. See, in nature, the provision is to produce only one egg each month. Sometimes there are two. But what happens when you do an IVF cycle? A kind of stimulating injection is given. The amount of FSH is increased so that you produce many eggs in a single month. But where is the healthy egg coming from? You can't actually produce extra eggs, right? There is no injection in the world that can create an egg for you. The follicle reserve you have, out of which you could use only about 350 to 400 eggs throughout your reproductive cycle, normally just one would mature and be released each month. Because of injections, in a single month, sometimes 7, sometimes 8, sometimes 5 eggs are released. So what does this mean? Do you understand where this atmosphere of fear is coming from? Why should you be afraid? The few eggs you have left, even those in the IVF cycle, you are quickly extracting them from the body. If you fail 3 times in the IVF cycle, just 3 times, and each time you produced 8 eggs, then you have lost a total of 24 eggs that were actually your 2 years' result. You cannot forget this fact. If in those 2 years, you had made sufficient lifestyle changes. If you had just done pranayama, yoga and meditation for 6 months, you would have naturally started producing very good, healthy, mature eggs from those same follicles. But what did you do in your haste? What did you do out of fear? You got caught up in the IVF loop and you quickly removed your very precious, preserved biological eggs from your body. So friends, don't get trapped by the fear of AMH. Don't be afraid. You don't need to worry about your AMH level. If you want a healthy pregnancy, just set a target for the next 5 to 6 months. You can very easily achieve a natural pregnancy. Even if, by any chance, you don't get pregnant naturally in 5 to 6 months, you'll still have a great advantage. If at that time you go for IVF, your success is almost certain in the very first cycle because your body will have undergone so many positive changes. You won't have to go through that loop again and again. Thank you very much. I hope that all the sisters who had doubts about AMH, like how to increase AMH, have had their fears and doubts cleared up. Don't hand up on AMH. Instead, focus efforts on improving healthy lifestyle, ovulation cycle. Myself, Yoga Guru Ramlal, a retired Indian Air Force coach and currently one of the most successful fertility yoga trainers. Thank you very much for being with us. If you have any doubts, feel free to write them in the comments. I will be very happy to share this information with you.